Hey everybody, so this is a very special interview with my former client, Shri. And if you notice, she looks just like me. That's because we're sisters. And there's a very unusual story behind how she became my client. But for any of you who are thinking like, oh, this is her sister and this is her family, so this is going to be a biased opinion about the work that we have done together, I would say just listen to your energy, listen to our energy, listen to how we talk about this. And I just wanted to quickly just share, let Shri share her process with you guys. So thank you so much for doing this.
My pleasure.
So where were you at? Tell us a little bit about you and where you were at before you started working with me, and what prompted you to even start working with me?
So my story, clearly you're my sister, so you knew where I was in my life, my professional life, and I had reached the point where I was just unhappy with the way things were going. I was working too hard. I was overwhelmed. I wasn't satisfied with the work that I was doing. I felt that I was putting so much energy, but my purpose was elsewhere. So distinctly feeling lost and that I've fallen off my path. So you clearly knew where I was because we talked as sisters. But I don't think all the times that I vented with you that I would ever make the connection at that point, at least when I was venting, that you could help me. So that's where I was. But then something clicked, something happened that I was like, you can help me. So
I remember that day you said, I want to hire you. And I literally was like, I started laughing, saying like, are you joking? Like, is this a joke? Like, what are you talking about? I'm not going to work with you. I even said that. I was like, I'm not working with you. You're my sister. I'll refer you to somebody. But yet you chose to work with me. I'm curious why you decided to take that step.
I remember that too. And I don't think I ever intended it to just say it. So something beyond me just forced me to make that call. Um, so in my professional life, I mentor and I coach many people. So I knew all the sound bites. I know what to say to people who are struggling with work, all of that. And I did not want that. I mean, I was past that. I had done that. I was preaching the same thing to other people. And yes, it was helping them, but I had reached a different plane where I needed something that was more in line with my deep rooted beliefs of, I needed to sort of rediscover myself. And I didn't think regular coaching could do that. I needed something that, um, decoupled me from my logical and analytical brain, which my entire life was like that. So I knew that I had to, unplug that and take a different path. And I couldn't think of anybody better than you. I mean, that was your life. That's what you excelled at. And clearly I knew you were helping other people. And I was like, if you can help them, you can help me. Yes, you know my history. Yes, you know where I was. Yes, you hear me day in and day out about what's working and what's not. But if anyone could help me from that angle, I couldn't think of anybody better than you. So I think on a spur of a moment, I said that. And then I was like, this is it. This is exactly what I wanted you to do. So I pushed you and you agreed. So thank you.
Yeah, it was a bit of an exchange between
You
us.
even made me sign a contract, which I did.
Yes.
So I honored it, hopefully, to the
Yes.
end. So
Yes, because I wanted it to be very formal. And I even told you we're not sisters when we're working because I will put on a different hat. And I'm your little sister too. So it had to really be like, okay, we're drawing some big boundaries.
exactly.
So
Exactly.
what was your biggest takeaway from our work together?
So I think if I were to reflect on where I was at that point when I forced you, and I think the slow discovery of who I really was, I think it boiled down to the fact that everything that I was doing and everything that I believed who I was very much rooted in my past, in what I had defined as right and wrong, and how I had to show up, how I had to do certain things just because people expected things of me, be it at work, be it at home. Um, I'm a, I was a perfectionist. I'm very proud
Yeah.
to say I'm no longer that. But those things I didn't recognize until I started working with you, that perfectionism is not necessary. And in fact, it was hindering me from growing. There was no such thing as a right or wrong. There was just what I wanted. And truth be told, I had never even asked myself what I wanted. And I think for the first time in my life, when you asked me, what do I want? I was stumped because I had never paused to even ask myself that question. Um, so I think my biggest takeaway was that you opened my eyes into acknowledging who I was and what had transpired in my life that made me who I am and making me accept that. Um, I was ridden with self-love, lack of self-love, a lot of self-doubt, second guessing, always looking at things from somebody else's lenses. And you unpacked and unraveled all of that to the point um, where I don't think I recognize myself today. And it's so many benefits, so many things that have unraveled from that point. But I think the biggest one was just learning to acknowledge my past, learning to acknowledge and accept my past, and then letting it go. Not holding on to it, not holding on to those things that I believed defined me. Because I think you helped me realize that I'm much more than what my past was. So
And also you've accepted your gifts. You're very, 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 very talented and very gifted, which was also hidden, and
that
amazing
is correct.
come out.
I didn't know I could write.
Mhm.
I knew I could write, but I always wrote for my work, my technical stuff. But I didn't know I had a different side where I could write to express my feelings, to express my thoughts and opinions,
Yeah.
and even poetry.
Yeah, it's been quite a journey, and it's such an honor to witness that. So where are you at now? Like, since our work has ended, where are you at? What has changed? What transpired for you since then?
So the funny story is I was just telling Giri, my husband, that I have to do and come and do an interview with you. And he said, well, if you want, you can tell everybody how much our relationship has changed because of the work that Padma has done with you. I was like, seriously? And he said, yes, you can use it. So, so no jokes aside, our relationship has changed. I think, once I started to accept myself, once I started to hear and listen to myself, and I think from that point, listening to how other people, um, what they asked of me and what they really wanted of me, I think our relationships improved. I'm a much better wife. I'm a much better mother. I think we have the most. I think I finally allowed myself to be goofy and silly with my kids, which I never did. I'm a very serious mother. Was a very serious mother. So lots of those little things that were really important to me changed, and I didn't realize that until after the fact. You're nodding your head because I know you see some of those things happen in the family, which is you get a very unique perspective, but it's true.
Yeah.
Right? So I now go for, we were joking, saying even though my husband and I are holed up at home because of COVID, we still have a great relationship. We go for walks every day. We talk about all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Kids have a great relationship. So much has changed just because I changed.
Yeah, yeah, and that too, you didn't even. It was not like there was any problem to begin with, but it just enhanced and made it much better.
Mm-hmm.
And also that that's not what you came in for. That was not even
No,
part of the radar. Side
no,
effect.
no. Yep, exactly. I came for self-discovery, and I discovered a whole bunch of other things too.
Wow. Yeah, it's such a special thing. It's this is by far my most special interview. Thank you. Thank you so much for your time. Is there anything else you want to add to anybody who's on the fence about deciding to work with me or not?
Oh wow! Ask them to call me. I'll
Sure.
talk to them. I'll talk to them. I honestly will. I guess if I have to say this, I don't know if other people, I would assume that I'm not alone, right? I think women, especially once you reach a certain age, you've given so much to your career, you've given so much to your family that you feel lost. I think, I don't think I'm alone at all in that. So if you're like that, and if you're trying to figure out who you are, where you're veered off the path, what is your path, who you really are, what do you want? And if you're on that journey, I don't think it's something that you do on your own. I know people try reading self-help books and they listen to podcasts and all that. I believe you need somebody who can guide you through that. And you've been my guide through that whole process. And and a spiritual guide, which is what I wanted. I didn't want somebody who would just, talk me through the words and the language. I needed something much more that touched my heart at my very core. I'm a spiritual person, so I needed that. So if anybody is on the fence and who's, like me, or maybe anywhere that's in similar, trying to rediscover your career. Oh, I forgot to mention that, how much my career has changed because of this whole thing. I've gotten promotions. Like my role has expanded. I work in a much different manner. I'm able to help people at work very differently. So if you're looking for that in your personal life, in your professional life, your self, love, self-discovery, I cannot think of anybody better than you. So
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time and your words and wisdom. Mm. All right, I'm going to end this, and thank you.
thank you.